straight up madness every time I look. Used to be a straight A student, now he's a crook. Robbing people just to smoke or shoot up. Used to get a crew cut, now he's a poop butt. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. We got our gray camellia flowers in. They're only $15. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about Jennifer Lewis. I can joke about my sex addiction now, but trust me, there was nothing funny about it. It was sick, compulsive, dangerous behavior. My discussion with Rachel about depression, mania, and sex addiction were extremely painful. But Rachel said that if I made a commitment to stay with the healing process through the long haul, I could in fact become a joyful person.
Becoming a star was once my highest goal. My talent for entertaining people, making magic with my voice and my whole self as a performing artist was the gift God gave me before everything else in life. I thought that if I worked hard enough, the challenges God gave me, poverty, abuse, lovelessness, would fade away.
I had been in therapy just a few months when Mama sent me a printed program from an event at her church. When I saw Pastor Hurd's name, that's the dirty dick mother hunchy that molested her when she was young in the church, every cell in my body reacted. I went out and bought a bottle of hard liquor. I got drunk. I held myself together enough to call Mama and ask her for Hurd's number. She hesitated, so I said, I want to ask him about a scripture. I knew that she knew his number by heart. Now, let me give you a little bit of background just in case you're new here, okay? Now, we're learning that Jennifer Lewis and her mother's relationship is very strained, okay? Part of the reason why is because when she was touched by Pastor Hurd as a child, she went to her mother to talk to her mother about the situation. She felt as if her mother did not do enough to resolve whatever issues came about from that molestation. Listen, when you are touched, that is a very hard, tough situation because you want it to just go away. You don't want to rehash it, not for the police, not for the judges, not for the victimizer, not for no one. So when you are telling somebody about an event that happens to you and it's not taken seriously, then you shut down as a victim. In Jennifer Lewis's case, she's looking at it like, you're my mama. You're supposed to be the first in line to take care of this nigga. But that didn't happen, okay? And now we're at the point where Pastor Hurd is getting ready to have an event, okay? And the mama had the audacity to call and say, hey, you want to come, take care of situation with Pastor Hurd. We need a star, okay? You a star. Pastor Hurd is my, husband in my mind because that's how them bitches in church be. I'm sorry, but you lonely hoes, y'all will let y'all pastor get away with everything, even though he is hunching every last one of you single mamas on the front row. All the little boys look just like the pastor, but ain't nobody saying nothing. Okay, that's a concern to me. Okay, Jamal Bryant. I called Pastor Heard. Hello, this is Jennifer. Hello, Jennifer. We saw you on television. Ooh, we're all so proud of you. It ain't that kind of call, motherfucker. He was silent. You still fucking with little girls in your church? Listen to me. If you hang up the phone, I'll fly there and I'll kill you. Why did you do that to me? When I kissed you, Jennifer, I was trying to show you what you might run into in Hollywood, you sick, twisted mother. Do you realize that in those 10 seconds that you touched my body, kissed me, and felt me up, you took everything from me, and you still call yourself a man of God? Just know if you hang up and don't let me get this out, I will blow your stupid, pathetic little storefront church to pieces with you in it. Ooh, go, Jennifer, go, you girl. You are getting it for every person that was touched. Oh my God, I feel like a weight of victimization lifting up off of me just because of this little part right here. Am I allowed one word? What bitch? Sorry. I am sorry. I continued to attack him and wanted to tell him to go straight to hell. But strangely, I felt his remorse. His apology did not lessen my disgust for him or rectify the damage he had done to me. But confronting him was liberating. Yes, mama, yes. I promised myself never to keep another secret. And I want other women to know they can stand up and must stand up to their persecutors. Feel the fear and do it anyway. We are all as sick as our secrets. Y'all remember that shit. Ooh! In early December, I flew to Columbia, Missouri to perform in a short run of Ain't Misbehaving. When I picked up the phone in my hotel room late one night, it was Mama. Hello. Jenny, your dad's dead. When are you coming home? The funeral was sad. Having not really known my father, I was unclear about what I felt or should feel. Because remember, her father and her mother separated when she was 2 weeks old. Some of my siblings were closer to him, and I spent most of my time comforting them. I returned to Columbia, Missouri to finish the run of Ain't Misbehaving. When the show closed, I went back to Kinloch and confronted my mother for the first time in my life. It's not until we get the strength to call our parents out on their bullshit. And unfortunately, it has to happen when you're an adult and out of her house, because you're not going to be able to talk shit to your mammy while you 16, 17 years old, living in her house, still getting a goddamn allowance. I don't think anyone had ever talked to Mama like this. And frankly, she was not fazed. But after so many hours discussing my mother with Rachel, her therapist, I understood that my mama could never admit that she had been wrong, because then she would have to feel remorse. Within the year, my sessions with Rachel increased to twice weekly. As the hours of therapy added up, I was becoming better and identifying and managing my feelings. My sex addiction lessened. When I'd begun therapy, my lovers were Tim, Adam, an actor named Sam, who just, let me say, we like to get it from the side. I get it. And Roger. I still enjoyed sex, but felt less compelled to use it as a way to feel better. I relished being more in control of myself. I had relapses. No trajectory is straight, and we fall back on bullshit excuses, fear, and confusion. Rachel called it dropping the ball. I would also throw the occasional pity party for myself. My one-woman shows have earned me my most loyal fans over the years, especially among my fellow artists. When Sidney Poitier saw the show, he said, "My daughter told me that you were wonderful." My dear, that was an understatement. You are magnificent. Thank God someone was there to catch me when my knees buckled. Girl, oh my God, you actors are so dramatic. We sold out every Sunday night. People crammed into the 99-seat theater. There were nights when I heard the stage manager say, "They're fighting over the seats out there." I lost track of the many celebrities and actors who saw the show. Lee Daniels. Damn. Lee Daniels, not Lee Daniels, I'ma steal all your money and then not pay you back until you threaten my life, Lee Daniels? That nigga? Chris Calloway, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Jackie Collins, Sandy Gallion, Mavis Staples, Shirley Ralph, Rosie O'Donnell, B.B. Newirth, Denzel and Paulette Washington, Carol Lawrence, Bette Midler, Felicia Rashad, and B. Arthur all came out to see me. Some of the show business big shots who saw what I could do offered me work. Director Lee Rose was in the house one night and went on to cast me in 3 of her movies. Seeing Lena Horne in the audience one evening, I didn't even exit the stage. When I finished, I just ran into the audience and hugged her so tight. She whispered in my ear, "You are the best." Sings, the word F comes up a lot when people describe me. In 1992, a horrible thing happened. 704 Hauser. It was a late spinoff of All in the Family about a black family that was to occupy the row house the Bunkers had lived in. Television legend Norman Lear, who'd seen The Diva Is Dismissed, said he wanted to cast me in the lead role. I worked with Lear on the script and the character, even going to his house. I started to see him as a father figure. I just knew he was going to make me the next Maude. I don't like to think of her as the next Maude because Maude looked way older than she should have. Like, I think Maude might have not yet been 50, you know? And when I see people and I'm like, damn, what is you doing? You niggas don't use no moisture? None whatsoever. See her being the next Maude because Maude was like a 50-year-old feminist. Okay, married to a alcoholic, okay? You know, and I just don't see Jennifer Lewis being that person. You know what I'm saying? Because she's still so young and sexy. Like, I see her being a Maude that's single and fucking. But lo and behold, he gave the part to Lenny Godfrey, with whom I done Yubi on Broadway. He offered me a small role, which I declined. It was a cruel Hollywood nightmare. Be giving me no pebbles. I'm the one that made all this shit possible around here. I didn't develop the character with you. Oh, that's the second time that happened with her. Because remember, Jennifer Holliday just walked back in and said, "Thank you, girl. Thank you for creating my, character. You can go back home to whatever it is you was doing, but this role is mine, girl. Toodles, thank you. Go back to which you came from, ho, because we don't need you here." Jennifer Lewis, for her to create a character again and then for the part to be given to somebody else. Ooh, New Year's Eve was closing night. And what a late Christmas present to have Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis attend. I apologized to Ruby that my voice had been hoarse. She said in her fabulous Ruby Dee slur, well, I didn't have anything to compare it to. I thought it was wonderful. I joined Felicia Rashad and a few others for the New Year's Eve celebration at Cafe Beulah. I went to the ladies' room, and as I rejoined everyone at the table, I asked them, "Are you guys talking about the show?" Girl, let me tell you what Lynn Whitfield did to shut her ass down. She said, "My dear Jennifer, I'm going to tell you like I tell my daughter Grace. It's not always about you." Jennifer Lewis said she looked Lynn Whitfield in her face. Ooh, I wish I was there. Ooh. I'd have been like, "Ooh, Jennifer, she carried you, Jennifer. Oh, I'd have been horrible because you know I love both them ladies. I think Jennifer Lewis and Lynn Whitfield are like the sexiest older ladies in the world. Ooh, could you imagine? Ooh, I'd have been like, "Ooh, Lynn, ooh, she getting out on you. It'd have been like, wah, 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 wah. I'd have been so happy watching all that shit, man. Throwing a bucket of mud and you couldn't beat me away from that situation. Back on the West Coast, that spring, I was doing my act at clubs like Nucleus Nuance and the Rose Tattoo. In the early 90s, lots of New York gypsies had moved to Los Angeles to take advantage of the surge in black sitcoms. They all showed up for my shows. The political climate got hot in Los Angeles. Rodney King, a black man, was beaten by police on video. Ooh, I remember that. Ooh, I was in college, y'all, in the 90s. Man, let me tell you something. That Rodney King beating had ninjas heated. It's straight up madness every time I look. Used to be a straight A student. Now he's a crook. He's robbing people just to smoke or shoot up. Used to get a crew cut. Now he's a poop butt. The political climate got hot in Los Angeles. Rodney King, a black man, was beaten by police on video. It became international news. Riots broke out in the South Central area in the aftermath when an all-white jury acquitted the cops involved in the brutality. Like so many people, I was deeply concerned by what I saw on that video and how the authorities handled the matter. It was stressful, to say the least. My urge was to do something to help. The horror of that incident and everything else I was going through in my life caused me to break out in hives. Even with all that itching, I was determined to go to South Central. It was the least I could do to volunteer to help clean up the rubble left by the rioting. It was me and 5 young white kids sweeping together. At some point, a homeless man approached us and screamed, "You motherfuckers never come down here for nothing else." I stepped to him and said, "Get the fuck on where you going." I felt bad. He could have been my own daddy. You should have. I soon turned my attention back to my life and work. I auditioned for I'll Fly Away, and Regina Taylor got it. I auditioned for Passenger 57, and Alex Datcher got it. My over-the-topness was still an issue. I auditioned for Against the Law and Family Matters and didn't get hired for either one. I wanted to win at show business, but toning myself down for work in front of the camera was difficult. I could go from 0 to 10,000 in a minute, and I was still experiencing mood swings and rageful incidents, like when I was in a restaurant in London with my friend Tom Fennessy, and the man next to us was speaking too loudly. I almost took the guy's head off. You got people that can't control themselves like that until they meet the right bitch. Rachel recommended that I see a psychiatrist who could prescribe medication to level off my extreme moods. I looked at her as if she was insane. You ain't putting me on no medication. I am Jennifer motherfucking Lewis. You aren't going to turn me into a zombie. I feared medication would take away my personality and restrain my ability to express emotions. Rachel wrote something down, and I'm sure she went to see her shrink right after I left. My negative attitude towards pharmaceuticals was affirmed by one psychiatrist Rachel sent me to. In his office, I saw a girl at the dispensary asking for her lithium. She looked out of it, fucked up. That struck me in my mind. I didn't want to be sluggish and dull like that. The psychiatrist said he didn't see anything wrong with my edge, referring to my mania. You need to do what you need to do. He was right in the sense that performers are rewarded by being over the top. With boundless energy and extreme emotions, I decided against taking medication. My point is that even health experts can have different opinions and come to different conclusions about the same patient. In terms of my career, the better I understood myself and managed that bipolar illness, the more offers came my way, including Undercover Blues with Dennis Quaid and an HBO show, Dream On. Debbie Allen, oh, fabulous one, swooped in and gave me a big boost by asking me to become a regular on A Different World, playing Dean Dorothy Dandridge Davenport. That meant my name would appear in the opening titles, and I would be guaranteed a minimum number of episodes during the season. Cree Summers, who played a character named Freddie Banks, and I started hanging out a lot. The depth of our inside ridiculous humor cannot be described. Let's just say we were cutting the food every moment we were together, hiking in the hills. The icing on the cake was that I did Johnny Carson's last show with Bette Midler. I had always dreamt of doing Johnny Carson's show. I found it amazing that I was booked on the very last show and with Bette Midler singing an upbeat rendition of Miss Otis Regrets. Robin Williams was on the show too. I had always been a huge fan of his, but his behavior backstage is what I remembered most. He was in an extreme manic state, and in that moment, I saw myself. Let me tell you something, if I ain't never told you nothing before. You never know yourself until you see yourself.
I became aware of how I failed to see anyone else when I was in that state. I felt unsettled. With all this good stuff going on, the roller coaster of happy, sad became intolerable. I just got sick and tired of it. I finally told Rachel I was ready to begin medication. But even with medication, my depression lingered. I was trying to create more productive energy in my life, attending lectures on positive thinking and living in the moment.
I had started meditating again and tried to stop smoking. Rachel told me it revealed a lack of self-love. I auditioned for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and was hired to play Aunt Helen. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves. You babies, y'all better have a good one. Be safe. And just because they tell you to take them goddamn masks off, don't do it, baby. Don't do it. We don't know these niggas out here. We don't know them, okay?